Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Plus, can I tell you something? It's gonna be an interesting episode here. Your boy, which is me, you got a new keyboard. Most of the time, new keyboard takes some getting adjusted to. There's no question about that. But VSF3 W26Z. If there was ever a time where it was gonna be more dangerous, is going to be when you're playing a game like The Binding of Isaac. So I'm figuring out, do I need a wrist protector? Do I in my old keyboard I had a little bobble, little fluid gel wrist rest that was good for ergonomics. I'm looking at this keyboard. I'm feeling this keyboard. I honestly don't think I need it right now, but it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute to get oh, that's just bad damage. Oh, the dang keyboard's broken. It's gonna take some time. Might make some mistakes here. My number one most dangerous situation, and it doesn't appear that this is gonna take place, so I'm very thankful, at least so far, is that we would get the Suicide King card, and then I would have to think to myself, oh god, where does this card go? Or what button do I press to drop it? It's control. Okay, I gotta look down the keyboard, find that old control key. You get the general gist of it. Anyway, why did I get a new keyboard? It's not a long story. It's not that exciting either, to be honest with you. But basically, I looked down on my keyboard a few Saturdays ago. I probably mentioned it in an Isaac episode. It was all grody and gross. And I thought to myself, I have more respect than this. I'm a 30-year-old man. I'm a business professional in some ways, I suppose. Very important people wearing suits send me emails from time to time. It's beneath me to have a keyboard this disgusting. So I said, we're going to fix this. So I cleaned it. I did not, people are under the assumption I dumped it in the dishwasher or something like that. It's not the case. I was very delicate. Used cotton swabs, paper towels. And just the slightest bit of dampness. Cleaned betwixt the keys. Cleaned, not under the keys. I didn't pull, the caps off and stuff like that. Because at that point, I'm like, I mean, you should. Don't get me wrong. But it was more a matter of like, okay. I'm one of those guys. I'll clean the mess I don't see for some stuff. But for this, I was only going to clean the mess that I can see. Anyway, I put it back together. Well, it didn't really require any putting back together, to be fair. But I used it for a couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden, I started getting doubled key presses. And then I started to get like doubled key presses constantly, to the point where, I'm embarrassed with anything I've written in the past week. It would probably look pretty embarrassing. You're gonna think that, honestly, if you would, I prefaced every conversation and email with, sorry, my keyboard is broken, but I'm trying my best. If I didn't do that, people probably would have sent me in for some kind of neurological examination. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not gonna go to the shop. We'll go to it on the next floor, and we'll keep our chance at an arcade. So I bought a new keyboard. Trust me, I understand. Yeah, the planned obsolescence of the millennial culture in this workaday world. Why didn't you just pull off every single one of the keycaps, put it back together, and see if? Because I got, it's an opportunity cost thing for one. If I spend a few hours doing that, it takes away a few hours from doing something else. And I got other things to do. And then, to be honest, I've had a keyboard for a while. It was just nice. It's just nice to have a new keyboard. I'm enjoying this right now. It's a tough call, actually. I mean, I think that's, you can learn a lot about an individual's Isaac play from what they choose there. You go for Little Chubby, which is not, an amazing damage dealer, but is relatively solid. Or do you go for a luck upgrade that has a subtle but objective benefit that might even be on a higher level than Little Chubby? It's a tough one. Difficult question. I already answered it because I picked up. I picked the one I wanted. I'm not sure if that was clear. I hope it's clear. I'm looking for a single battery charge. I know there's one in the shop. I'm gonna be a little reckless here. Let's do a little examination first. I say it's a little reckless. It might not be in a literal level, but I want to be just the slightest bit reckless here. I want to see if potentially there is a chance for us to get a full charge. There is a big room, so there will be a chance for us to get a full charge. But the reason it's slightly risky is because we could screw up our deal with the Devil Chance entirely as a result of this, so some obvious dangerous elements there. We actually, I think we got a little lucky. We played this a little bit less skillfully than we usually do. You know, I hate to use the word skillful to describe anything that I post on YouTube, but hey, I'll have you know, in the past week, oh well, didn't have a blood bank anyway, but in the past week, I have gotten 3 Apex Legends wins. I think we'll just stick with this for now. 3 Apex Legends wins. Probably like, I would say 8 to 10 Tetris 99 wins. No PUBG wins, to be fair. No Super Animal Royale wins, but that's just because we haven't been playing Super Animal Royale as much on the show. We also got 2 wins in that, you know, sailing Battle Royale, Maelstrom. So, I mean, to be honest, it's been a decent week for me. I've been putting together some relatively strong performances in video games. I don't know, you know, we've had some good Dicey Dungeons episodes. Now I'm on, you know, must be the season of the witch, episode 4. And it's, man, it's a slog, but we're doing our darndest. That is the secret room. We're putting in all due diligence on this floor right here. I think you do not take this yet, but you're happy to know it exists for the future. Okay. Get tons of money, too. So we will get a choice of items from the boss. You're lucky. Oh, you're very lucky. I think we do want HP, but not yet. Wow. Okay. So this is one. Oh, my lord. This is one where you just want to be a little cautious, okay? Don't know if we should have picked that one up yet. That it is it's equivalent of another upgrade. It's spiced, but here's how I think you do it. I think you take this, use it. Take this. Strength. Take this. D6. We would like to. Oh, you know what? We do get something out of Sack Altar from Little Chub. Lord of the Pit also showed up there, which was surprising. This is, it's a very, very, very strong floor for us. There were some, I don't want to call them advanced level plays, because that's a little ridiculous. But I think we played our hand very well there. We played an astute game. I'm not going to take the, I'm not going to take the stopwatch, as you clearly surmised for yourself. Mostly because the stopwatch is just kind of like it's a little bit of a boring item. You know, that doesn't get me that excited. I think that we might as well just keep re-rolling, look for a half-price item. I don't think we were getting another penny. 2 of clubs I can live with. Look for a half-price item, please. Look for a half-price item, please. Looking for a half-price item, please. And we're looking for a half-price item, please. You're not dead. Okay, we're looking for a half-price item, please. Wow. Okay, so they gave us a half-price item, and it's one of the best items in the game. What can you say? You know, sometimes you just get lucky. Did we get lucky on this one? I don't know if I'd go that far. I thought we had to play our own cards properly in this situation in order to find ourselves in the spot. But I'll tell you, BFF, Sack Dagger, Blank Card, Sun, Sack Boy, Piercing Shots, you know, to have all that after 2 floors. This is the kind of thing that after a hard day of Dicey Dungeons, dying over and over on the 5th floor, it can really brighten your afternoon. Let me put it that way. Afternoon? Yeah, I mean it's. You'd probably describe it as, any rational human being would probably describe it as the evening right now. Wow, that's also very good. I mean, it's 7 p.m. right now. 7:10. Hey, what's a snowboarder's favorite time of the morning? 1080. Cool. See you out on the slopes, brother. Hang 10 or whatever they say. Anyway. What was I talking about? I don't know. I've talked about it before. I think it's depends when you grew up or where you grew up or how your parents grew up, etc., etc. That's how you determine what's evening, what's afternoon, what's blah, blah, blah. I mean, afternoon is easy. It starts at noon. But if I'm being honest, I kind of feel like the afternoon... I know it's called afternoon, but hey, man, a driveway is called a driveway and a parkway is called a parkway. Hey, sometimes we don't name things the way they should be named. Am I right, fellow kids? But, you know, I feel like the afternoon starts at 11. And I can tell you why I believe that, even though it sounds insane. That's when we ate lunch in high school. We ate lunch at 11 a.m. So that was kind of, for me, it was like, you know, you're not eating lunch in the morning time. You're eating lunch in the afternoon. I think we'll take the tiers upgrade, honestly. It's a close call, though. Ooh, I mean, when in Rome, right? Like, the run's already going real well, so I don't need the void on this one. So for me, here's my morning time. For me, when does the night switch to the morning? 5 a.m. What's my reasoning? 4 a.m.? I don't know. If I was talking, it's all personal, right? I'll just give you my own personal take on it as a result. If somebody talked to me and they're like, yeah, dude, I was really tired. I was up till 4 a.m. I would be like, whoa, dude, that's really late. That's a late night. If I talk to somebody and they're like, yeah, dude, I was up really late. I was up till 5 a.m. I would be like, are you insane? That's the morning time. Now, I'm not saying I haven't been there, because I've been there. But, I mean, let me put it this way. I think it's obvious. If you were like, I was partying until 6 a.m., you would be like, that is actual, real human being hours. So it's somewhere between like 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. For me personally, that's 5 a.m. So I think the morning runs from 5 to 11. After that, the afternoon runs from 11. I think I'm an 11 till 6 kind of guy when it comes to the afternoon. That's my 2 cents on that subject. I feel like 6 p.m., I would be like, yeah, it's the late afternoon. But 6:01, I'm like early evening. Then the evening, you know, I mean, that probably runs for me until like 10 of spades. At which point you move to the nighttime, but the night is the evening. It's, you know, it's based around meal times or whatever. Like, we're like a 9-10 p.m. dinner kind of family over here. My parents, on the other hand, they eat at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. What that means is, on the average day, and my sleep schedule is pretty normal, but on the average day, my parents eat dinner before I eat lunch. Not before I eat breakfast, but before I eat lunch for sure. That's kind of mind-boggling. We always remember whenever we go to my parents' house, and we like wake up, eat a wrap or something like that, eat a sandwich, and then like an hour later, my mom's like, you guys getting hungry? We're feeling a little peckish. Just different lifestyles, you know? I feel you. Like, so the town I grew up in, kind of grew up in the suburbs, and okay, well, that's fantastic. And I like the suburbs, to be honest. I don't really have a desire to go back. That was almost like, if I had done that intentionally, that was an incredible play. But I like the suburbs more than most people. Now I live in a major metropolis. I mean, it's not, you know, Seoul, but there's a lot of people. And I prefer it this way, but, you know, there's pros and cons. I'm not a suburb hater, is what I'm trying to say. That's the important part of this discourse right here. But there's nothing to do. You know, once it gets to be like 9 p.m., you might as well just get ready for bed, have an early start tomorrow. Plus, in the wintertime, it's just insanely cold, you know? It could be like minus, you know, 20 degrees Celsius on a slightly below average day. You don't want to be outside. Now I live in a city where, you know, it doesn't get that cold. When I eat a little bit later, I work a little bit more in the afternoon, get more time at night to maybe, you know, just sort of enjoy the amenities. Hold on. I don't want High Priestess. Where the heck did the sun card go? Dude, I've never been more proud of my province, by the way. Apparently, the provincial government for this season is going to enact legislation to stop doing daylight savings time. I'm so stoked. Will it cause problems? Maybe a little. You know, there might be like, hey, you want to be on the show today? Yeah, it starts in 2 hours, right? No, it starts in, you know, 1 hour as a result of the fact that my province doesn't have daylight savings. They'll be like, oh, that's right. But mostly it causes problems for other people. And I think we have an obligation to do right by ourselves. I'm stoked. I don't, you know, daylight savings is one of those. Don't take this the wrong way, okay? There are probably people out there who are like, they make their decision over who to vote for based on daylight savings policy. There's people out, especially in municipal politics, as I've realized, you know, I have no real desire for just, you know, 3,000 reasons to spend an Isaac episode talking about, you know, national or even provincial politics. But municipal politics, I will talk about all the time because it's hilarious and it's very bizarre. You know, the issues that people get into online debates for years, for federal, provincial, you know, state level politics, the municipal level has the exact same level of fervor, the exact same level of enthusiasm. However, the issues are, you know, like, I don't want a speed bump on my road. I told you once, I told you 1,000 people will show up. They'll make like a homemade t-shirts to show up at a city council meeting. Say no to speed bumps. You know, it's nuts, but also entertaining in a weird Christopher Guest sort of way. So when I say what I'm about to say, you know, if you are the single issue voter for daylight savings, don't take this the wrong way, okay? But it's kind of like a nothing political issue. Like, you know, if somebody you disagreed with politically was like, and we're gonna end daylight savings, you would probably be like, ah, yeah, another thing to drastically improve the quality of life for nobody ever. But, you know, even if it's a nothing issue, if they're gonna tackle it, you'd rather they at least get it right. You know what I mean? I gotta start going to city council meetings, man. Like, I realize, you know, so much. So it's gonna be a bit of an ageist bit. I'm working on it, but you know, it's a process, okay? I realized, you know, like, you know, people say things like, you know, the younger generation doesn't vote, the older generation always gets to choose the administration, you know, because they're actually out there and politically motivated. It is true. I would really strongly encourage you to care and vote. Canada has an election coming up in like 10 days. You should vote. It takes like... The longest I've ever waited in line to vote has been like a half hour. You could just play Angry Birds and cast a vote or something. I don't know what games people play these days. I don't mean to be insulting to my own generation. But, you know, just go vote. If you got time to argue about why you shouldn't vote, you can go out there and at least... It's a tradition of adult life, okay? I can't force you to do it, obviously. But, you know, if you're like, I don't like any of the candidates. Yeah, welcome to the real world. I have voted for, you know, in provincial, federal, municipal, mayoral, city council elections. I've researched all of them before voting, you know? Never have I ever been like, oh, I am stoked. I can't wait to vote for this person. Usually there's always a little caveat. And if there's not a caveat, there will be 4 years later when they seek re-election. However, you still gotta, I mean, you don't have to, but I would recommend doing it. You feel like you're more a part of the process, you know, meet people from your community, get yelled at by the elderly, it's a nice time. But anyway, if you think that it's true on like a national level, on a municipal level is 10 times more dictated by retirees. Because it's just natural, you know? They have more time, you know? And to be honest with you, they got less going on, so most of the time. So they have the passion and they have the availability to go out there and argue passionately that the name of this street should not be changed. I gotta get out to some city but who's got time for that? It's always, I say the same thing every time. I'm always like, man, if I ever end up like living in a house that's part of the homeowners association, I'm gonna go to every meeting, because I always hear these stories, especially like locally, hear these stories about what are known as strata councils, which are basically like corporations, but they're corporations set up to administer the rules and the bylaws of like an apartment building. So, you know, you got a few thousand people, or probably a few hundred, I guess, living in most apartment buildings. A few thousand might be a little much. But, you know, things will come up, you know. How many, what are the noise, the quiet hours, you know? What should the price of the laundry machines be? You know, how are we going to handle garbage and recycling? And then where are the garbage and recycling proceeds going to go? Are they going to go to charity? Or are they going to go to, you know, fixing up the building? Or are they going to go to, you know, buying potato chips for the mixer and stuff like that? You get the idea. But, you know, I always hear these terrible stories. And I don't think it's every strata. But there will be stratas that are like, you know, hey, the maximum weight for a dog in this apartment building is 25 pounds. Your dog's looking a little husky. Any chance I could get in there with a scale and weigh your dog? Now, I'll tell you, if I had a dog, or if they tried to pull that on one of my 2 cats, you can come into my unit as soon as you get a warrant from God. Not even the police. I will not respect that warrant. You're going to have to drag me out to weigh this creature on my right now. However, better to, you know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, you know what I mean? So I kind of feel like you have an obligation to be engaged, just so that, you know, these people that, to be quite frank, have nothing better to do with their life than worry about other people's business that really shouldn't affect them, you know, don't get to have their way over everything. But I know if I went to the meetings, I mean, I'll legitimately try. But I'm sure that, like, you know, after a while, you know, I hate meetings to begin with that don't serve a purpose. Sure. Well, what I've got many paint swatches here for the hallway. What color do you think we should paint the hallway? Here we have Etruscan beige, and we also have a Tuscan taupe, which looks quite nice. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, that's the same color, brother. And then, you know, they'd argue about it for an hour and a half. Well, personally, I think Tuscan taupe is more suitable to the earth tones that we have already in the acts. Well, speak for yourself, Suzanne. I think Etruscan beige is better because I went to, you, and I would probably just, I would just leave. I would yeet myself from the meeting. I don't even want to go down the road again because, you know, they say in that Willie Nelson song, just can't wait to be on the road again. Not me. I can wait to be on the road again. But I recently talked about, you know, the fact that, you know, working in groups doesn't bother me. What bothers me is when someone in your group has a fetish for meetings without realizing that meetings for no reason compromise your ability to get the work done that the meeting was necessitated for in the first place. So, like, I exclusively want to be there. You can handle the paint. That doesn't bother me. You can handle the, oh, should we get brushed aluminum or, you know, carbon fiber? I don't know, dude. I don't really care. But when you start doing, like, well, I think the quiet hours should be 24/7. That's where I start to talk, okay? That's where I start to make my voice heard and be a champion of the people. Look, I think if you live in an apartment, you should always endeavor to not disturb your neighbors, whether the bylaw says it's legally possible, like allowable to disturb your neighbors or not. You know, we don't play loud music. We do talk and inevitably shout and sometimes sing, I guess, if we're playing Twitch Sings. So I can't deny that it probably happens. And we've had our problems with noisy neighbors, lots of them. Music, you know, parties that go until the early morning, 6 a.m. Routinely, you know, playing basketball indoors, that one threw me for a loop. You're just like, come on, man. You're really playing. You're in an apartment building. I get your Jazz the Raptors one, but you're playing basketball right now? Inside? Anyway. So, I don't like noise, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, you know, if you live in an apartment building, it's a communal living experience. You've got the illusion of privacy, but really, you know, any given moment, you're less than 10 or 15 feet away from a neighbor, you know? You gotta accept. You just embrace the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated as well. You know, I wouldn't want a neighbor coming over and knocking on my door if I was, you know, cooking bacon too loudly at 1 p.m. In the same boat, I wouldn't do that to somebody else. I think there's definitely... I mean, we have, again, you know, we live in a spicy building, apparently, when it comes to noise from time to time. But, oh, thank God it wasn't missing, though. Not very good items, though. But, you know, if my neighbors are playing loud music and it's like 8 p.m., literally, I'm stoked for them. I'm like, yo, enjoy your party. Or if you're sitting alone, enjoy your party. I will say, though, as soon as it ticks over to midnight, I'm like, you better cut that out immediately. Or I will be telephoning the Vancouver Police Department's non-emergency line and getting a stern talking to from the operator on the other end telling me it's not a real problem when it is a real problem. That's never happened. It's just that's what it feels like would happen in my head. I bet if you're a cop, I mean, maybe you like noise complaints because of the fact that, you know, it could be worse, right? Like, you could be going to, like, a murder scene or something. But on the other hand, I bet you're like 40 years old, dude. Why? You really need to get the police involved to tell you to be quiet, like, and turn your music down? That's just absurd. Like, your role as a police officer in that situation is just to be like a disapproving dad and be like, come on, man. You're really gonna make me to tell you to turn the music down? I'm actually just gonna use the sun card to accelerate this fight. Because that's how I feel sometimes when I've, you know, not... It's been a lot better that we've had new neighbors move in who are probably listening to me speak right now. But, you know, our old neighbors, really bad about it. But our new neighbors, they're not so bad. I mean, they're not bad. I don't want to say not so bad. They're amazing. I haven't heard a peep out of there. Some disgusting aromas, though. I'm just making a joke. What's the joke? I guess the joke would be that, you know, I'm implying they're deceased. It's not really a funny one. I regretted it as soon as I said it. But, you know, that's the beauty of improv. Hey, for now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!